relating to sex and labor trafficking, known as human trafficking, that remains a huge problem here in the state of Florida. I'm joined today for this important announcement by John DeBrule, the Executive Director of Gulfcoast Legal Services, Bill Weller, who's the President of the Board of Directors of Gulfcoast, some of their talented legal professionals, also Major David Dalton from the Clearwater Police. He has been instrumental in the Tampa Bay Task Force on Human Trafficking. Also, we're going to hear a personal testimonial from Neva Behalem, who's here with her husband Dennis and daughter Kate. They're going to talk about how important it is that you have legal experts that help you work through the personal issues. In America, legal services shouldn't just be for those who have all the money in the world. This is a country where the justice system should be open to everyone. And that's why it's important today that we're announcing a $600,000 grant to Gulfcoast Legal Services as part of the Tampa Bay Human Trafficking Task Force that will help victims of human trafficking work through those personal issues, whether they be legal or they be their personal support issues. This is a horrendous problem. And unfortunately, the Tampa Bay area remains a place, when you compare to other locations across the country, where this is a real problem. People being exploited, taken advantage of. Oftentimes, people fall onto tough times and are very open to some opportunity to try to make some money, and then they find themselves caught up in a very difficult situation, being taken advantage of. Oftentimes, drugs and alcohol are involved. So this community, fortunately, has really stepped up through a collaborative effort of the Tampa Bay Human Trafficking Task Force with local law enforcement, our nonprofit community, the faith-based community. People see they support it greatly. Everyone's very, very supportive of it. But oftentimes, a piece of it that's overlooked is the legal expertise that is needed for these victims to work through the justice system. And that's why I'm grateful to the United States Department of Justice that they believe in what our effort is accomplishing here. This grant is one of only 10 in the entire country announced by the Justice Department, where they set aside $5.6 million to combat human trafficking, and $600,000 of it will come to this community. And I'm grateful for the experts here today who will put those funds to very good use. So John, would you like to summarize what is happening here at Gulfcoast Legal Services? We really are grateful to everything that you're doing in support of victims and everything you do for legal services.
Well, thank you very much, Congresswoman Castor, and thanks so much for your support of the fight against human trafficking, not only here today, but in Congress. So, first, let me tell you a little bit about Gulfcoast Legal Services. We are a legal aid organization with offices in St. Pete, Clearwater, Bradenton, and Sarasota. And part of our mission is to provide legal help to people who are vulnerable, including individuals, families, and communities. So this is part of our mission to help victims of human trafficking. As you've heard today, this is a serious problem in Tampa Bay area, and it's often a problem that goes unseen. We have had clients working in the agricultural community just in the fields nearby here who were recruited from their homes in Central America, asked to pay exorbitant recruitment fees, and told that when they came here that they would have a chance to earn enough money to pay back those recruitment fees. But when they came here, the story was different. They were unable to pay back the recruitment fees. Their wages were way below what they were promised. And when they tried to leave, they were faced with threats from their employers and threats to their family back in Central America. So in conjunction with the Clearwater Trafficking Task Force, we were able to represent these clients and help stabilize their lives and work with our community team members to try to not only stabilize their lives, but to make sure that this doesn't happen to other people. So another example of situations that we've helped people in are women who have been recruited from all over the world to come to work in low-paying jobs, who come here only to find that that low-paying job is working in a brothel. And we have had women who have been trapped in brothels in the greater Tampa Bay area, unable to escape, unable to get out, and forced to service multiple men every day. And when they finally are able to come out, then it's important that they have an attorney. Because sometimes the system is not understanding to the victims in these cases. Some of these people fear for their lives, and if they're forced to go into court or things like that to testify, their family members back home might be compromised, might be threatened, might even be killed. So, in having attorneys to represent victims, we help educate law enforcement, members of the community, members of the state attorney and federal attorney to realize what the impact upon clients' lives are. And finally, I want to say that we're not only focused on foreign-born victims of trafficking, but also on Florida-born and U.S.-born victims of trafficking. We have had clients who have been forced into the sex industry as children at the point of a gun sometimes, and have been unable to get out, and have gotten out because they said they needed to go to the bathroom or something like that, and managed to escape. And once they escaped, the cloud of what had happened to them hangs over them, in that while they were in the sex industry, they may have been convicted for prostitution, for something that they were being forced to do. So as part of our services, working with our community partners, we work to wipe out their criminal records, to expunge them so that they can start a new life. So we have been providing services for several years. And when we initially got a grant from the Department of Justice just 2 years ago, as part of the grant, we targeted 25 victims of trafficking. We currently have a caseload of over 70. The need is so great, and there are so few resources that the grant from the Department of Justice will allow us for the next 3 years to expand our services to help more and more victims of trafficking and to help to fight this plague, this modern-day human slavery. So thank you.
Well, thank you, John, again for all that you're doing, and you explained it very well. Now I'd like to ask Major David Dalton from the Clearwater Police Department to come forward to explain what he's been doing as part of the task force and how important the task force is.
Thank you, Congresswoman. On behalf of the Clearwater Tampa Bay Area Task Force, we appreciate all of our non-governmental assistance partners, certainly the Post Chief among them. We congratulate them on this grant to help assist our victims. One of the problems that people don't realize with human trafficking is that the case isn't resolved with an arrest or recovery by law enforcement. Often the victims of these crimes, these heinous crimes, are faced with a litany of legal challenges that they need to overcome as they go through the court processes. They assist law enforcement in the prosecution of the offenders. So there's a lot of things that people don't realize that impact these victims from a myriad of factors, and certainly the legal aspect of it is critical to that. So they are an essential partner in what we're trying to do with the task force and the path to the task force. Certainly this is an aspect that is a very detailed, very complex issue, and we applaud them for all their assistance and congratulate them on this grant. We think that it's going to be a great benefit to victims of human trafficking in this area. Thank you.
Thank you again, Major. Now, I wanted to make sure we also explained that the local nonprofit World Relief, who has been working on human trafficking for over a decade, is part of this effort. And I don't know if Ida Lopez is around, but I encourage you to follow up with her too if you want some real explanation on how far these cases go on. But at this time, I'd like to call on Neva Mahalo to give us a personal testimonial to explain how important Gulfcoast Legal Services was. Thank you, ma'am.
It is a great pleasure to stand here in front of you. I hope everyone's having a great time. I saw our dog today, and I remember the saying, a dog wags tails with its tail. I am like a dog right now, because I want to say so much, but I can hardly say the word. So I made this comment. To our honorable guest, Congresswoman Castor, to our Executive Director of Gulfcoast Legal Services, sir, good morning, and to the lawyers of Gulfcoast Legal Services, members of World Relief Organization, press, guests, a pleasant morning. Love and gratitude. This is what I feel. These are the best emotions that one can imagine. Looking back, the image is clear how we got here, how we were in the past, the struggles that we had go through. Believe me, it was a bumpy roller coaster ride. What keeps us going is the verse from Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. Ask and it will be given unto you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. It all started when an agency from the Philippines hired foreign workers to Orlando, Florida as welders. Luckily, my husband applied and was hired. It was one of the happiest times of our life. During that time, I am also working as foreign domestic helper in Hong Kong. My husband started working here in January of 2008. The company provided them with accommodation, but most of the terms in the contract were not followed, particularly the compensation. My husband enjoyed such situation, hoping that everything would be fine, as he is very determined to provide us, especially our only daughter, a brighter future way back in the Philippines. Eventually, the situation of unfair labor practice got worse until they brought a case in the labor department. Until then, they were abandoned and were never get paid. It was one of the biggest challenges that Dennis, my husband, is about to face. Considering what we have no other relatives here in the United States, I was very worried on the family in the Philippines. Amid a sleepless night thinking what he will do, I prayed a lot until such acquaintances encouraged him to be relocated here in Tampa. With God's grace and determination, Dennis went to Gulfcoast Legal Services asking for help, what he will do with his current situation. Gulfcoast Legal Services lawyers was so helpful to Dennis. Their immeasurable help and expertise was so great that words can't express how grateful we are. Their works can be compared to that of shepherds. They led, take care of, watch out for, nurture, rescue, and direct their sheep. Gulfcoast Legal Services qualified Dennis to apply his case as victim of human trafficking. Thus, World Relief Organization helped as well. Both agencies work hand in hand, and indeed, Dennis get his working permit and got a chance to request me and our daughter to join him after 7 years of waiting. Finally, we arrived here last January 28, 2014, and last August 4 of 2015, our permanent residency was approved. It didn't happen in a snap, but everyone knows that the processing of it happens way faster than what the others have experienced. Thank you all to all who have been involved with paperwork, meetings, and phone calls. I want to thank this opportunity to Attorney Adriana, I think he's not around, to Attorney Sophia, and to Luis, who's been here from day one of my husband's journey, and of course to Attorney Lisa, and to Miss Ida Lopez of World Relief Organization. When God sent us an angel, He gave you to us. Thank you for the support, financially and emotionally. You're being so patient and for opening our eyes to see life in a different way. To lawyers of Gulfcoast Legal Services and members of World Relief Organization, may you will continue to share and touch lives the way you did to our family. Having surrounded with people like you, will all help us take the next step to become a law-abiding citizens of this country. God bless America for changing our lives, for our future as family, and for our family in the Philippines. Thank you.
Yeah, well, that was very brave of you to share the story. And Dennis, I can tell that it's still it's so meaningful to you. And before the press conference started, they relayed again how vital Gulfcoast Legal Services was to getting him out of the trafficking situation, getting his wages, and getting his family over to America from the Philippines. So this is a good example. Does anyone have any questions this morning?
I mean, obviously it makes me think of how surprisingly legislative passed anti-trafficking.
Certainly think anything that gets awareness out there and assists victims, where you find maybe one victim is a good likelihood you're going to find another. So it's a way to get those victim services, but it also get us information about these organizations. So I think every little step forward in this fight is going to help. So whatever we can do from the law enforcement side, from the legislative side, or even from a victim services side, everything that's focused on moving this ball forward and attacking this heinous crime is important. So I think every little piece of that puzzle is going to help us attack trafficking.
What kind of changes in trafficking have you seen over the years? The methods that are used, have they stayed about the same, or?
Well, I think we've seen a little bit more on the side of domestic trafficking, but I think the important part about their grant and the services they provide, and I can let them speak to a little bit more, is they provide services to domestic and foreign victims. So even though we're seeing an increase there, they're going to service all those, and I think that's the essential part of this grant, is assisting all the victims in this fight.
All the services are free. They're supported by the grant from the Department of Justice Office of Victims.
Will that help you hire more lawyers, or how are you going to spend the money, basically?
We intend on expanding our staff. We have, as part of the grant, promised to hire a accredited representative through an immigration and do almost all of the things that an attorney can do in terms of immigration. So this will allow us to maintain our current staff as well without the funding of other companies.
What are some of the industries where you see victims a lot? Are they restaurants? Are they what types of industries?
Well, I think as the laws have changed, it's expanded the definition of human trafficking over the years. When we initially became involved in this, we were focusing more on international victims. But I think as the legislative aspect has kind of caught up to it and attempted to address that, we've seen a little bit more on the domestic side. I think that's why it's so important what they're doing to be able to service all victims. As I said, that just addressed or the identification of a victim is just the starting point for them. That's why the Congresswoman and Gulfcoast for their efforts in this. They are a key partner in our task force and a key aspect to what we do in these investigations.
So you mentioned that a lot of victims, I mean, well, in some cases they're able to escape and they're aware of what's happening and they're able to contact law enforcement. How else are these cases discovered?
Quite a different way. It's just like any other crime. We get tips to our task force. We get tips to local law enforcement agencies. We have tips that come in just from citizens on the street. That's like any other crime. We're asking for citizens to cooperate with law enforcement. There's only so many police officers, as y'all know. So obviously this is a partnership with the community. The more information we can get from victims and people that say something just doesn't look right in my neighborhood, report it. Because that's how we start getting into these organizations and understanding that they're operating in certain areas and gathering intelligence to be able to act on it. So part of, whether it's coming from a phone tip or a text tip, a lot of agencies in this area have a variety of mechanisms to reach us. We encourage you to use those. Call your local law enforcement agency, call the task force, let us know. We're going to investigate it. Any little bit of information helps because you never know when that one little bit of information is that piece of the puzzle that we didn't have. So I think whatever mechanism a citizen chooses to report it, when it just doesn't look right, that's what we're looking for.
Well, I will go ahead and say that unfortunately the state of Florida is known as being one of the worst places in the country for sex trafficking and labor trafficking. A lot of it due to the tourism industry, unfortunately, but today it's agriculture, it's those low-wage jobs, it's we're a very transient state, we're a very international state, all of those things.
My name is Nevy, N-E-V-E-H. And my last name is Mahilom, M-A-H-I-L.
Well, thanks again, Gulfcoast Legal Services, the Clearwater Police Department, part of the Tampa Bay Task Force on Human Trafficking, World Relief, and thank you very much for giving us this. Thank you all very much.